Trump just got huge surprise while passing out candy to kids at White House with who suddenly showed up, taking a well-deserved break from all the asinine garbage the fake Democrat and deep state narrative is doing to the Trump administration. Our president managed to put on a happy face Monday night as it was time for himself and the First Lady Melania Trump to interact with children and their parents, while they passed out candy at the White House. One of the people in line for candy was Attorney General Jeff Sessions with his grandkids. Although all this took place just hours after the bogus indictment from the Democrat operatives in the deep state, it was still said to be a great event and both the president and first lady were at their best. As always, 0 shares. Facebook, Twitter. Taking a well-deserved break from all the asinine garbage the fake Democrat and deep state narrative is doing to the Trump administration. Our president managed to put on a happy face Monday night as it was time for himself and the First Lady Melania Trump to interact with children and their parents, while they passed out candy at the White House. One of the people in line for candy was Attorney General Jeff Sessions with his grandkids. Then they both got an awesome surprise. A young boy in a firefighter costume came up to President Trump and Melania. What an adorable moment. Donald J. Trump at Real Donald Trump, wishing everyone a safe and happy Halloween. #Halloween 2017, 11:08 p.m. October 31, 2017. 10,540 10,540 replies 12,648 12,648 retweets 52,963 52,963 likes. Twitter adds info and privacy. Although all this took place just hours after the bogus indictment from the Democrat operatives in the deep state, it was still said to be a great event and both the president and first lady were at their best. As always, Fox News reports, much of the political left is cheering about the indictment of Donald Trump's former campaign manager, Paul Manafort. They think it will undermine President Trump. The problem, though, is that it appears increasingly likely that Manafort's indictment has nothing to do with the Trump campaign. It is true that Robert Mueller began investigating Paul Manafort based on Manafort's dealings with the Trump campaign and Russia. But the special prosecutor, like most prosecutors, can go in the direction an investigation takes him. If the investigation goes off the trail of the campaign into a new direction, the special prosecutor can go in that new direction. That appears to be the case here. The federal investigators have been curious about various wire transfers during the 2012 period. Manafort has close ties to both Russian operatives and various other unsavory figures tied into Moscow's political apparatus. It appears he may have transferred money and accepted payments that he should not have and that he possibly failed to accurately report them on taxes. This is all based on the initial reports that are leaking out. If that is the case, Manafort and his associate Rick Gates are getting indicted for things far removed from the Trump campaign. A talking point already shaping up on the left related to this is that Manafort must have been forced to work for Trump by the Russians. The thinking goes that there is no way Manafort would have wanted to work on so high-profile a campaign given his baggage. Someone must have forced him and that someone is the Russians. This seems to be wishful thinking by members of the so-called resistance who are lost in their fever dreams of Trump hatred. Manafort worked on a number of high-profile campaigns and just because you never heard of him before now does not mean he was an unknown or minor figure. Manafort's indictment in a matter unrelated to the Trump campaign gives the Trump team a new talking point. They had already made a few unflattering statements about Manafort and can now claim that this clears them. The Mueller team looked into the campaign, went down various rabbit holes, and wound up in Manafort's tax return circa 2012, well before Trump considered running for office. Therefore, they can claim, there is nothing there with the campaign. It is a believable talking point except for the fact that the investigation continues. Still, this will be a distraction from that investigation as media sharks circle Manafort. One last point to consider here is that the press probably hopes, as some TV pundits are speculating, that Manafort's indictment is designed to make him squeal about the Trump campaign. That all sounds well and good, but if Vladimir Putin really were involved, the chances of Manafort squealing on anybody are really low, and there is no evidence that there is anything to squeal about. But the left's fever dreams against Trump continue, and Russia stealing the election is a necessary component to those dreams. As long as Robert Mueller fails to turn up evidence to show Russia stole the election, The American left will continue to believe in an elaborate conspiracy. It is far easier to believe that than to believe Hillary Clinton ran a terrible campaign. As reported above by Eric Erickson of Red State, this so-called indictment isn't about Trump, and it shows no proof whatsoever as to there being any collusion between the Trump campaign and the Russians. The only true collusion was between the crooked Hillary Clinton campaign, the DNC, and the Russians when it was uncovered last week that they both funded the fake dossier on President Trump. Fusion GPS, which is a Washington, D.C. based firm, was retained in April of 2016 by a lawyer representing Clinton's campaign and the DNC to do the research. The firm hired Christopher Steele, who is a former British spy with ties to the FBI, and who was responsible for the dossier that has been at the center of the Trump-Russia investigations. But because Democrats always get away with everything, even murder, I wouldn't bet the farm that anyone will be going to prison over this.